I love that it takes discipline and hard work to be where I am.
Is it true you were as tall as your kindergarten teacher?
I was probably 6 foot by 5 years old.
For food.
Poutine,
Is poutine the secret sauce that helps people grow to 7'9"?
I don't know.
If a 7'9" center ever learns Wemby's mobility or Shaq's paint craft, that's not a player, it's a rules exploit. Think about that. You're not contesting shots, you're negotiating geometry. That's not a typo. Everyone sees the viral dunks and the "we want Olivier" chants. The real story is systemic. He's the tallest active college player ever, functional in short bursts, and he's flashed efficiency against elite youth comps. The thesis is simple. Size plus one elite skill equals inevitability. The only question is which elite package is realistic: mobility shooting or craft power? Let's audit speed, shooting, and paint control, then map the blueprints. Here's the thing. At 7'9", the court shrinks. Standing reach turns vertical contest into no-fly zone. Offenses don't run normal actions. They route around a pillar. Defenses don't gamble. They funnel everything into his wingspan. That's geometry. And the leverage levers are three: short area speed, shooting that punishes sag, and paint control that functions like gravity. Everyone sees the blocks and the tip ins. The common narrative is he's just tall. Okay, but actually, the edge is how quickly he occupies space that others need 2 steps to claim. Whether that's sealing early or arriving at the rim a beat ahead. Straight line runway versus lateral recovery. He's not a switch 5. Acceleration lags over long distances in lateral cuts, especially above 7 feet 6 inches. But plot twist, short area footwork is learnable. If he trains fast twitch, pre-positions early, and lives in conservative drop, the job becomes contain, then contest, not mirror a guard at 28 feet. Think elevator doors. He doesn't chase you, he closes the gap you're trying to slip through. In international reps, when he's set early, the shot profile changes. Drivers pick up the dribble. Floaters get rushed. Even with limited minutes, the deterrence is visible. The surface level take says he can't shoot because there are no threes. The thing nobody's mentioning? Functional free throw mechanics plus soft touch windows at 10 to 12 feet are the hinge. If he hits 70 to 75% at the line, teams can't just hack. If he adds a short roll floater and a free throw line touch shot, taggers are forced up. You don't need pick and pop threes. You need just enough face-up touch to punish a packed paint and create a half step of respect. That half step is oxygen. This is where 7'9" becomes a physics problem. 3 bodies to box. Automatic seals if he gets chest to chest before the catch. Touch can be variable, sure, but the window for second chances explodes with conditioning. Offensive rebounding becomes a possession tax. If he holds position, you're fouling or conceding deep paint. And if he becomes a foul magnet, the math breaks. 2 fouls on a starting center in 4 minutes changes rotations and play calls. Systems rewire around that. On offense, you widen the lane with shooters and spam early seals. On defense, you run drop with strong nail help and prioritize early stance over late contests. It's not about making him fast, it's about making him first to the spot. Now, let's map those levers onto 2 proven templates: Wemby's mobility package and Shaq's craft package. Wemby wins with mobility length shooting gravity. He erases shots, then stretches the floor enough to warp coverage. Shaq won with angles, deep seals, and relentless paint pressure that broke your will and your front court depth chart. 2 different engines, same outcome: inevitability. Olivier doesn't need all of either. He needs enough of one toolbox to become unsolvable. Pick a lane, then overbuild it. Speed is about containment, not switching on to jitterbug ones. Improve lateral stutters, the first 2 slides and drop, and pre-positioning. Goal: arrive early, chest square, hands high, force floaters. Shooting is the unlock. He doesn't need trail threes. He needs mid-post touch, elbow dribble handoff pops, and a short roll floater that lives at 8 to 12 feet. If taggers hang low, you punish. If they step up, the lob window opens. The free throw stroke is clean. Finishing in small samples has been efficient when he's balanced. Passing out of doubles at youth levels is functional. He sees over traps, and simple reads become high value because of his height. In this lane, he's a deep drop anchor who can finish plays, short roll to touch, and deter everything inside 8 feet. You create 5-out spacing around him, run empty side pick and rolls, and cut behind ball pressure. On defense, you live with conservative rules and field goal percentage suppression. You're not switching, you're suffocating. Paintcraft is the center of gravity. Early deep seals, 2-hand power finishes, and a baseline spin counter so he's not a statue. Become a foul magnet at scale. The speed target changes. Make the first 2 steps violent out of the seal, and get rim to rim in 6 to 8 strides for early catches. The offense becomes a countdown. Cross screen, duck in, whistle, free throws. Even in limited minutes, teams need 2 to 3 bodies to move him. That's gravity. If touch stabilizes and turnover rate drops, the usage scales quickly. Yao showed how dominance works with managed lateral range, angles, touch, and minutes discipline. Murasan and Taco demonstrated the ceiling cap when conditioning and mobility don't scale, role player lanes. The lesson is simple. With defined coverage rules, load management, and positioning IQ, a 7'9" center can be a playoff problem, not just a regular season novelty. Pace and spacing will expose him. They will if you ask him to switch. They won't if you pre-position, deep drop, and win the first step of every action. He needs threes. No, he needs touch and a credible line. Think 70+% at the stripe and a reliable short roll. Injuries will cap him. Minutes caps, periodized strength, and a strict usage diet are part of the blueprint. Both paths rely on the same 3 levers: speed in short spaces, touch that punishes sag, and paint control that taxes rotations. Pick Wemby Light or Shaq Light. Build the program around it. Then, watch the rules bend.
Let's talk runway. Florida gave him something rare for a viral giant. Pro structure without the pressure to perform nightly. Redshirt meant film, lifts, scrimmages, and learning coverages while the program chased hardware. He's 19 with 4 college years available. That's time to pick a lane and stack reps the right way. Dominance is a system choice. If you pair 7'9" with pace control, switch minimizing defense, and real spacing, you're not fighting physics, you're weaponizing it. The wrong system asks him to hedge at 30 feet and sprint corner to corner. The right system gets him first to the spot and makes everyone else do the running. Year 1 to 2, the job is simple. 12 to 18-minute bursts with ruthless focus. Block training for fast twitch. Short ladder bursts, reaction steps, resisted first strides. Make free throws a volume habit. Build the deep seal package until it's automatic. Walk your man down, chest to chest, 2-hand catch, power through. Rep the short roll floater from the nail. Not sexy, necessary. Year 3 to 4, scale to 18 to 24 minutes. Add elbow touches and dribble handoff pops, not to shoot threes, but to force taggers up and keep passing angles open. The 10 to 12 foot touch has to be reliable enough that a drop back coverage pays a tax. On defense, master deep drop and foul discipline. Deterrence greater than blocks. If he turns drives into floaters and short pull-ups, the math is on your side. Pre-draft, This is G League time. Spaced pick and rolls, real speed, real punish. Track defensive impact in drop principles and measure how often he forces mid-range outcomes. Offensively, give him a diet of early seals, cross screens, and rim runs. If rim-to-rim happens in 6 to 8 strides, you're living in early offense before the paint is crowded. Team archetypes matter. Wemby path fit, a switch-averse roster with wingspan, great tag and recover habits, and 5-out spacing. You want a conservative drop behind active hands at the nail and baseline stunts that guide drivers into his reach. Offense is empty side pick and rolls with shooters lifting out of the corners. Shaq path fit, a physical guard who throws the early lob or lasers the seal. Shooters at the 2 through 4, a patient half-court cadence, and a coaching staff that will call the same cross screen 4 possessions in a row until you crack. He doesn't need variety, he needs inevitability. Pace and spacing will expose him, only if you insist on switching and late positioning. Injury and conditioning fears, minutes caps, periodized strength, recovery discipline. Shooting is mandatory? Not from 3. Touch and 70+% at the line can be enough when your paint gravity is a drain on rotations and fouls.
So how good can he get? That depends on the lane, the reps, and the discipline to keep the ecosystem clean. Best case, Wemby light or Shaq light becomes real. Speed is functional in drop. First 2 slides are crisp, first 2 steps out of seals are violent. Shooting lands at 72% at the stripe with soft 10 to 12 foot touch and a short roll floater. Paint game is elite. Seals, 2-hand power, whistle farming. Outcome? High-minute, playoff rotation piece who warps matchups. You get multiple seasons with top-tier on-off impact and real playoff utility under strict load management. Median case? Playable specialist. He gives you 16 to 20 minutes of drop coverage without bleeding layups, hits 68 to 70% at the line, flashes mid-post touch occasionally, and lives as a foul magnet with streaky touch. Outcome? Backup center who wins certain series on matchup leverage, boosts regular season net ratings in the right scheme, and stays in the playoff rotation for targeted minutes. Worst case? Lateral gap never closes. Acceleration lags, free throws stagnate, conditioning caps reps. Outcome? G League focus with occasional call-ups, situational lineups, novelty moments rather than scalable impact. Swing factors: coaching discipline, guard synergy, foul and turnover control, and health. Most important, choose a lane early, mobility touch or craft power, and pour every rep, scheme, and minute plan into that identity. If 7-9 ever meets real skill, that's not basketball fairness, it's file corruption. Drop your scenario in the comments. I'm reading everything. Subscribe so you don't miss the follow-up.